Can I tell you, verse 13, the first part, it says, one day some parents brought their children to Jesus so he could lay hands on them and pray for them. Parents brought their children to Jesus, just like a lot of parents are doing here this morning. They brought their children to church so they can have an encounter with Jesus. He says they brought their children to Jesus so he could lay hands on them and pray for them. They realized that my children need more than just me. My children need prayer. My children need to be covered. But then it goes on and it says that, but some of the disciples, they fussed at the parents. Some of the disciples, they got mad at the parents. Some of the disciples, they began to fuss at the parents, Ron. Some of the disciples began to fuss at the parents. All they were doing is just bringing the child, but they fussed. No, stop what you're doing. No, you can't come back. You can't come back here. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? No, he's busy. He's busy. He's a steward, and he's busy. He has responsibility. No, stop. What are you doing? Why are you bothering him? He's extremely important. And that's what the people did. Thank you, Ron. They brought the children to Jesus, and the disciples, the ones that were closest to Jesus, began to fuss at the parent for why are you bringing that child in the church making all that noise? The one that was wondering why the child making, you the disciple. The one that was wondering why you were hearing all that chattering from church, you the disciple. And the disciples said, no, Jesus is too busy. Don't bother him with matters that small. There are people to deal with. Don't. He's too busy. He's healing folk. He's changing lives. And you bringing a child to be touched by Jesus, who's so busy, the ones closest to him, the ones that got to eat with him, the ones that got to travel with him, the ones that got to talk with him, knew the least amount about him. They began to think it was about them. No. See, I get scared when I don't hear little children in the church. I get nervous when parents and grandparents don't bring the children to church. Because when we have 1 and 2 generations that grow up that have never been touched by Jesus, then we end up in chaos. Folk that know nothing, but the disciples, they were gatekeepers. No, this is important. You can bring that person, but you can't bring that person. They began to fuss at the parents. Don't bring that child at church, it's too much noise. Don't bring that child, it's too